Hi guys, I'm Tara Lipinski.
And this is Todd Kapistashi,
and you're listening to Unexpecting.
the podcast.
Yeah. I feel like we're very professional in the way we say that now.
Well, you have a very sing-songy start, so then I feel like I have to piggyback off it. Hi guys, it's Tara Lipinski, and this is Todd Kapistashi.
Johnny makes fun of me because I say hi guys for everything. So if we start a video together, we both do it now where we say, hi guys. If you go to our Instagram, it's just us saying.
But he's really kind of mocking you.
Nobody likes it.
Oh, he likes it now.
Yeah, like we can't not do a video without us both saying hi guys.
You know what, one of my favorite, I have two, this just struck me thinking about you and Johnny. Two of my favorite just like travel Olympic memories that I have, both involve you and Johnny. One was like during the Olympics, you guys used to like film those like funny little videos of you guys together. And I probably no one else thought this was funny. I don't know why I did, but we did like you and Johnny. Do you remember this? I'm going to blank on what exactly it was, but you guys were pretending to be like local anchors.
Oh, yes. It's on. So guys, if you want to see, it's on Tara and Johnny. We have our own Instagram page. So it is on there. It was, remember, Cara Lipinski and Johnny Steer?
But Johnny Steer, I don't know why. Like, I don't think it got that many views because people didn't find it that funny. Johnny's like little local news Johnny Steer character cracked me up for some reason.
That was like one of my favorite videos we did.
Well, that's one. And then the other, which is also probably on that Instagram, is, I don't know, she probably still does it. Leslie Jones goes to
you fell.
No, so you guys were having me film on my phone this stupid little, I don't even know what it was. It was you guys like walking down the hall of the hotel, and you guys are you're singing.
Leslie.
Yeah, with Leslie. And you were singing, so it was like, was it Taylor Swift or Mariah? A Beyonce song. And so I'm backpedaling, and you guys are facing the camera. And
we were committed. So we were like
for whatever
running.
reason, no one decided to be like, oh, Todd, there's like a wall. You're approaching a wall very quickly. And I slam, while you guys are just singing, watching me, slam into the wall.
I mean, I really do love our memories that we have. I mean, you and Johnny have such a funny relationship. You guys like each other so much. And when we go to these events, and remember when we went to Schaumburg?
Oh, yeah, that was a memorable one.
Was it Illinois? Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of Chicago.
Yeah, but I feel like the three of us, the little trio, is really kind of hilarious together.
Remember when we went to, it's where the wild boar pasta became a thing. Was it in Brazil?
No, that was Brazil.
Yeah.
Remember that Rio restaurant?
Yeah, we went to it like 9 times. It was like an Italian restaurant in Rio.
Yeah, and Johnny always calls you, I think he calls you Todd Cap for everything, but like, he's like, the running joke there was Todd Cap is getting the wild boar pasta.
I had wild boar pasta like 9 times there.
Oh, man.
And then, people probably know, but you and Johnny are doing the closing ceremonies.
Yes. So we're going to Paris. We're doing the closing ceremony. We are really pumped. We obviously love an Olympics, but come on, Paris. Are you kidding me? The next couple Olympics are fire. Paris, then it's Milan, so it's Italy, and then it comes to LA, which is going to be really convenient. But yeah, I miss Johnny. It's funny. Johnny sometimes sends me videos. I should start like showing you them. You'll die. He just like, he's great. So guys, this is now like a Tara and Johnny podcast, but he is like so talented when it comes to accents. Well, also, I mean, he knows like he can speak like 6 languages. He's just kind of brilliant. But anyways, he always makes me laugh if I've been in a bad mood or when we're working by putting on like different accents. So he'll like send me videos sometimes during the week. And the last one was he does a really great Russian translator one. Todd does not find this funny.
I want to hear it.
I am not.
Tara, on the other hand, not great with accents.
No. You know what just popped into my mind? That Italy trip with the gondola we were on. One of these podcasts, we're going to have to bring that story up. I feel like it's a good one.
Gondola?
Yeah, the gondola swaying in the wind.
Oh, yeah, we probably talked about that.
No, I don't think we have. I don't know why that just popped up. I think it's because it's like one of Johnny's favorite moments. That video you sent him.
Tell it.
Should we? It's kind of random.
It's not that long. It's essentially, we're talking about the Olympics. There have been Olympics in Italy.
Yeah.
It was Mount Etna.
It was Mount Etna. So we decided that we thought it would be fun to go to
That's in Taormina or no?
We were in Sicily, right?
Yeah.
And we were staying like, I don't know, an hour away. And we decided to do Mount Etna. And guys, just to preface, I am not a huge outdoorsy person whatsoever. I don't like hiking. I don't, I love walking in a city to eat and drink and see the city, but I am not a big hiker. So
Why did you agree to go?
I don't
know that I even really wanted to go.
We went.
Well, the funniest part to me,
it was literally
the thing
awful.
that cracked me up, still does, because I have pictures of it, is they would give you, because they would say, like, you don't know what the dress, we didn't know anything. We just kind of showed up, and they're like, oh, it's going to be like 9 degrees up there, because it's like high, and it's a volcano,
so
like an active volcano.
Though, remember, they gave you.
So they give you boots and a jacket, and that clearly didn't fit you. So you had these like awful hiking boots on and this huge puffy blue jacket.
That it
you
didn't
looked like
fit.
a child.
I did. Like, just to give you a visual, it's like, if I was supposed to be in an extra small, I was in like a triple XL. Like, it wasn't just like a few sizes too big. It was like down to my knees. I couldn't like really walk correctly. So anyway, they take you on this tour, and guys, the wind.
Well, no. So you're skipping way ahead. The funniest part, the gondola.
Oh, the gondola.
Well,
sorry.
what's crazy is so they get you.
It was a bad day.
You take
all
like
around.
a weird, like, it feels like from a sci-fi movie, like an armored vehicle that's like trudging up the side of this volcano essentially, and then you get to like the bottom part where there's like a restaurant, whatever, and it's where you change, and then you basically have to take like a wired it's not a gondola is a boat, isn't it?
Oh. Wait, I thought a gondola. No,
I don't know.
Okay, well,
but it's essentially like a covered, it's like a ski.
Yeah,
it's a
like
wired.
a little.
What do you
cubicle.
call those?
It's a gondola. I'm pretty sure it's a gondola.
I mean, a gondola is a boat. That's why when you were saying a gondola in Italy, I was like, oh, I haven't been to Venice.
I don't know. What is it called? Anyway, the thing that takes skiers up a mountain.
Yeah, but it's like a 4-person with seats in it that you take up that's covered that like just takes you up the mountain. Yeah, it was covered, but it's on wires.
Yes, and let me just explain, like, I don't know if it was supposed to be like a historic one, but it was old. Like, when you looked at it, it had
like it was from like the 20s.
Yes, like already.
It was pre-war.
Stepping onto it, I was upset about this. I'm not a huge fan of heights.
Well, this is the thing, not to interrupt you, but the thing that's so crazy to me, and this is kind of Europe, I guess, a little more than the US, where everyone sues everyone for everything, but it's like there was no operator. So like in the US, if this existed,
traumatic experience.
So just to paint a picture, like essentially these things would circle around, like, you go skiing or whatever, but again, these are like.
But this was also going up a huge side of a volcano.
But like you would have like workers being like, they would stop and they would like tell you to get in, and then you'd go up. So I don't know if you remember this. No one was there. No, but there was no one there, but they also didn't stop. They were going very slowly, but you had to like walk next to them and kind of like open the door and get yourself in, and there was no one in there.
Right. Like if you did it at the wrong time, you could have like hurt yourself.
Yeah. But so then this is what's insane is that they even said, I think they warned us that it was like pretty windy that day.
Yeah.
But we didn't know what that meant. So we went up. And so there's it's me and you in this one like 2 or 4 person little thing. We'll just call it the gondola.
It's a gondola for today's purposes.
It's an air gondola. It's a mountain gondola.
I think it is a gondola. Keep going.
So we're going up and it's like a little windy, but then as we like get towards the summit, they stop it. They start stopping it. Do you remember that?
No, yeah, they literally stopped it. We're like mid peak. So it's like, guys, like already my anxiety over the height was like upsetting me. And they stop it and they don't tell you. It's not like this, again, like this is 1920s. There's no like speaker inside this thing.
I actually think there was a speaker.
No, there wasn't.
I think no. You know what they had?
I thought something was wrong.
You know what they had? They had speakers like on the poles.
Oh,
I feel
yes, on the outside of the pole.
So I'm not exaggerating, and you're kind of Miss Scaredy Pants at this kind of thing. I usually just kind of roll with it. Even I was a little bit freaked out because the whole thing was swinging, legitimately swinging
in the air. We're stopped.
And you look behind and you see all the other ones and they're all swaying.
Not swaying. It was swinging. It was like full force swinging. And guys, I got so upset. And also, I didn't know when it was going to start moving. I didn't know if it was too windy and we were going to blow away. I didn't know what was going to happen. And then anxiety sort of took over.
Yeah.
And then Todd thought it was funny to film this incident.
I think I was scared and I was trying to ease my nerves by like making light of it.
Yeah. So there is video of me. I don't know what I was doing, But
there was a pole at the center of the gondola.
I was holding the pole,
and
like
you were kind of crying. You weren't kind of crying. You were like crying.
Yeah, I was crying.
And you were like, look at the video is so funny in retrospect. It's like the greatest video.
Where is that video? I feel like you posted it on your Instagram at some point. Can't do it.
Can you look it up here?
I hate it. Oh my God, we're swaying.
It's all right,
I was crying, and I said something like, TK, we're gonna
like, tell my parents I love them.
Oh my gosh.
And then we got to the top, and we have a joke that's funny. Is like you looked over at one point because you get out of the eventually you get to the summit where the active volcano. Mount Etna just erupted recently too. I think it was 6 months ago.
Yeah, but back then when we went, it was the most uneventful.
It was cool. It
was.
I thought it was kind of cool. It's like it was like unearthly. You go up there and it feels like you're on, well, not Mars because it's black.
It was just sandy and the wind. So there was dust and sand pelting your face.
But there was so much wind.
Freezing.
Do you remember you laughed? Like we were dying laughing.
I was
you were like,
floating away.
No, you looked over and this little kid was holding his mom's arms and his feet were like off the ground. It was like from a movie. Like if she would have let go, he would have just like floated off into Mount Etna. And then you at certain points would be like, my feet are starting to lift.
My feet were lifting. I mean, it was miserable. And
I disagree.
We had to walk so far.
It was a great memory.
My face was all red from like the sand pelting it. It was just,
I mean,
I'm glad we did it.
How much pasta and,
a lot. I can eat a lot of pasta.
And towns can you walk around in Italy before you need a Mount Etna experience?
I mean, it is one for the books. Anyways, so we've told that story. I don't know why that popped into my mind. Should we get into what the podcast is about?
What is the podcast about?
I feel like now it's turned into, you guys can comment and let us know, but I feel like it's now turned into half me and you, half fertility podcast.
Yeah.
We have an exciting podcast coming up next week, guys. It's really going to be fun. It's with Dr. Amy. Yeah, Dr. Amy, the Egg Whisperer. If you follow her on Instagram,
she's the best.
She is the best. She is a doctor out in the San Francisco area, and we're going to have her on asking her all the questions. So I guess also if you're listening, we're going to hopefully get this podcast up before we do that. So just if you have any questions for her, send them my way either on Instagram or for Todd, comment here.
Send them my way too. Why do you get all of them?
He loves
Send
the comment.
them my
Believe
way.
me, guys, sometimes I want to get on YouTube and respond to you all, but do not worry. Todd and I are looking at all comments always.
Mm-hmm.
And we appreciate them.
We do.
Okay, so.
Well, I wanted to ask you before you got started.
What about I want you to tell everyone, I'm really proud of it, about the Webby Awards.
Oh, yeah. I never really told you about this.
I know.
But I submitted the first, again, people joke, what's first season, second season with the podcast? I don't know. But I submitted like some episodes of the first season to the Webby Awards and we got recognized, which is cool.
We didn't get nominated, but we got an
like
honorable mention, which is, I mean, think of probably how many people are submitting to the Webby Awards.
Yeah.
And there was how many nominations? Like
4 or 5.
4 or 5, and then we were an honorable mention.
And the health and I don't know what the category was.
So I'm super proud of that.
Yeah, it was cool. And so the other thing before we got going, it is fertility related, but also not. And it's the thing that we struggle with on this is like not sort of mentioning Georgie that much because this is still a fertility podcast. So we don't want to like go on and on about that. But the question I wanted to ask you, which I think will be interesting to people, is we talked in the first season about this, about how awful Mother's Day is for you. Companies now, you can unsubscribe. I mean, I think we talked about this in the last episode.
Yes, we did.
About how triggering that day can be. What now, having Georgie, and obviously that day was wonderful in a lot of ways, but like, were there any thoughts of, I don't know, not melancholy, but thinking about past years or like other women who are sort of trying to celebrate this day? So
it was really interesting. We actually never talked about this, but it was like, it's almost like it felt more like, less like a holiday and more like a birthday, if that makes any sense, even though birthdays are really fun. But do you ever like on birthdays get a little, I don't know, nostalgic or in your head or get into this weird space where you're thinking about life and the future and the past and what that, I don't know. I just had like, it was I mean, again, so grateful that that day happened. It was very surreal. But I think so much has happened on that day for us. And, you know, I still see posts from people I follow where they were in a similar position. And there was someone who reached out and who said like literally that day was going through like, you know, getting ready to have a D&C and I mean, I was in that same position. So it just puts you in this interesting space of, yes, your life right now has moved past that struggle or that phase. But you are so aware of, you know, I think I thought a lot about people waking up on that day and, you know, kind of comparing it to when we were in that position, and really obviously feeling for them. And then there was this hope though, because it's annoying when people are like, oh, have hope. Like I hated when people said that to me because it felt like there was no hope. Like, no, it's not just going to magically happen someday. But in a way, it kind of did. So like, I guess those people were right. But because it did happen, there was like this feeling of talking to a lot of these women. I mean, I DM people all the time about stuff. And there was a part of me that was like, I can't wait for that person in 2 years to be like messaging me a picture or in a year or whatever it is of them actually getting to that point of, you know, succeeding in that and being able to enjoy that day. But yeah, for me, it was almost this floaty. It was almost, again, too surreal. It was like, whoa, is it really true? Or am I faking it? But it was obviously a beautiful day. But yeah, there's so many emotions of like when you're thinking about stuff.
And now a quick word from our sponsors.
Time for some ritual talk. When I started trying to build my family, I had no idea that 95% of women are not getting the recommended daily intake of key omega-3s. I had no idea that was important to pregnancy. But when I started researching what prenatal would be best for me, I found Ritual Essential for Women Prenatal and knew it was the one for me. And you guys have heard me talk about this for so long. Their prenatal contains 350 milligrams of eco-friendly vegan omega-3 DHA in every serving, sourced from algal oil instead of fish. Plus, I really trusted Ritual's Prenatal Essential for Women because it's research stacked and science backed, which if you know me, that is right up my alley. So it's all vegan, non-GMO, project verified. And what I really loved is Ritual is a female founded B Corp, meaning they are holding themselves accountable to not just their company's financial health, but also the health of people and our planet. So all around, how can you not love Ritual? So why settle for a multivitamin you're not 100% sure about? Ritual was literally built on trust, so you know it's the real deal. Get 25% off your first month for a limited time at ritual.com/Tara. Start Ritual or add Essential for Women Prenatal to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/Tara for 25% off. So we have been keeping you up on our surrogacy journey, and it has been more of a difficult start to get going than our first round. We were really blessed in the first round to find a surrogate very quickly, have a great match, have everything go smoothly. And as you know, we talked about it a few episodes ago, the very first surrogate we had now matched with failed their medical screening. We started over, found someone we really liked. I really liked her. She was out in Idaho where Michaela was. We would have gone to the same doctor. She just seemed really cool and very much like me. Again, anyone who's looking down the surrogacy road, my biggest advice is like find someone who is like you. You know, you want to talk to them and be like, ooh, sounds like me. You know, she was very type A, careful, you know, overthinking in a good way about things like lifestyle, like really thoughtful about, you know, how they would have gone through the pregnancy, their family. So I was so pumped, and it was like last week, went to Dr. Beck for medical screening and unfortunately has scarring in her uterus, which could have happened from an IUD or from pregnancy or previous pregnancy. And so it was, you know, a no-go. And Dr. Beck gave us the call. You know, I felt really bad for her. And just like you get thinking that this is going to happen, and you start again, you do the thing timeline like, oh, so this appointment's here and her cycle started then, and this is when it's going to happen. And we're back at square one of kind of looking, and it's hard to get to that point where you really feel like there's a match, because there could be someone out there and you do the interview and you're just like, oh, like this may not be the right fit, or their job may not be the right fit, meaning like there are, again, we talked about that. What the one surrogate we loved was around chemical, like in a, I don't know, silica, whatever it was. But, there's just stuff that it takes many hurdles to get to the point of going to Dr. Beck's for a medical screening. So I'm hoping third time is a charm.
Well, it's weird because it feels like this surrogacy process has been more difficult than the last one, but I don't think it has been. I think we were like the first one, it didn't seem that bad because
I was
so
simultaneously trying to get pregnant still. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I guess what I was going to say is like there was so much else going on.
Yeah.
There were failures and anxieties and all these other things that seemed like way heavier than like whether or not we were going to eventually like, we're going to find a surrogate probably eventually.
Yes,
like there's
you're so
timing.
Right. You're so right.
But like in the moment, I don't remember being that stressed about.
Well, no,
the
actually,
surrogate,
it's coming back to me because I preemptively tried to find us a surrogate just for the second embryo, because remember, we're like, even if I get pregnant, like we're never risking another one on me. But I think that was such on the back burner of like, oh, hopefully Tara's going to get pregnant and then we'll face that. But you're smart for looking for one. So I was like looking for one while I was still going through my transfer and all of that. And I remember when I tested on day 5 of that pregnancy, I got the papers, and I remember giving them to you into the office, and we started filling them out, but then we still had to go get DNCs and recover. So I think it was sort of back of our minds, whereas this is like, okay, we're ready. But
Are we?
I'm definitely ready. And I think that it'll just be interesting to take everyone along step by step, because I do get so many questions about surrogacy and what that process is like. But yeah, that's the unfortunate news that we got last week about a surrogate we really liked.
Yeah.
Because you have so many phone calls with them before just to make sure that you're not wasting anyone's time and that it's a match. And then you feel like, oh, perfect, we found our person. And then you just quickly, in a 15-minute appointment, it all goes down.
What always strikes me when we're having those conversations with them is like, you look at them and you're like, you could be like pregnant, and like pregnancy is such a like, it's a 9-month process, and it's a thing on your body and all this stuff, and just thinking that like, I don't know, like you're planning for that to happen, and then to your point, it's gone so quickly, and then you're like, oh, I guess I'm not going to be.
Yeah. And I think that's why I'm saying I feel bad for her, because you talk to people at the agency who are helping between the two of us, and I think for both parties it's really sad, because you're like plan to kind of get excited, you feel again that teammate feeling starts to come in, and then you're like, oh, just false alarm.
I don't know if this is a valid kind of question, but do you think there are other doctors because Dr. Beck's very strict for good reason about the surrogates, are there other doctors that would have like let this surrogate
No,
carry?
I mean, there was scar tissue across her whole uterus. But I bet there's doctors that would have said, hey, get a hysteroscopy, clean it up, and try again. But sometimes that can cause scar tissue. And I do like Dr. Beck's approach of just giving us our best shot. And she's just sort of like, you're looking for a professional surrogate. So if they're starting off with scar tissue, and I think I'm very sensitive to that, because it's like I've had so many problems. What I love about surrogacy is that they
don't have your problems.
They don't have my problems. They're the unicorns that are just, have perfect fertility health. So you want to start at that level, because also IVF is not a guarantee. So that's our surrogacy news.
Oh, and then I don't know if you want to talk about it's cool. You've been interviewing people for Rune, this company. Can you explain that?
Yeah, I can explain that. So I am jumping on board actually in, a pretty big capacity as this app called Rune. They're really cool. They're a platform that they have all different diagnoses, like ALS, dementia. They're doing one now. It's not launched yet, but on fertility, and then so forth. There'll be others. But they had reached out to me to sort of do these quote unquote interviews for the app, for their community section. And I did it, but I loved talking to the founders and realizing what the app is, because it really is something cool that I wish was around when we were going through things. Cause really all I had to rely on was deep diving on Instagram, Googling weird Reddit conversations, that I would try to find information out on. But it's just a platform where, they get the best doctors in the world to speak on the specific diagnosis. And the way that it works is like with AI technology. So when you sign up and you give all your details of what exactly you're looking for, it could even be like, I'm a friend trying to support another friend with this diagnosis. But if you're the patient, you kind of fill it out so it's this complete match for you. And then it just creates and curates information for you. So all of these videos with questions and answers of like, what you might be searching or wondering about, of all the different timelines or things that go along with your diagnosis. They have these incredible professionals and doctors and therapists, really vetted, making sure you're just not getting, crazy information like, oh, drink,
Hashtag ad.
No, but like drink vinegar.
This is starting to sound like you're an advertisement for Rune.
Am I? Sorry, I'm just joking.
Really
I'm just joking. There's no reason for me to do it as an ad.
No, I know. What's so funny is we didn't have any conversation about you even talking about this. And then when I asked you, it started normal. And then you like it so much that it's starting to sound like an advertisement.
So funny, guys, like, and I'm sure people,
sorry.
People listening, let me just say this. I feel like I am such a infertility geek. That's why we do the podcast, but I could talk about fertility and infertility for hours. And I think a lot of people in the community, I've been talking to women for this app, have the same feeling. Like when I talk to them, I'm like, oh, this is how long I talked to my husband for 6 hours before he's like, I gotta cut you off. Anyway, I just thought it was such a cool idea. And I was like, hey guys, what else can I do? I want to be involved. I want to work on this. And I am sort of heading the community section and really filling out the more lived experience. And, I think it will evolve, and I have crazy other ideas that I want to do. But right now, the format of it, of these little bubbles that pop up with someone asking a question and then just answering that specific question. I've reached out from my like burner account on Instagram of my fake Mila Storm, of everyone I followed that I really had vetted over the years that I know is knowledgeable and have interesting stories that they can share that other women will feel less alone. And then also they can listen to that story like I did on Instagram, and like their antennas can like pop up over something and then research that and then take that and be able to advocate to their doctor like I did. So I've been doing all these interviews, reaching out to all these people that I had followed, which is interesting. But like yesterday, I like got goosebumps and like cried. I actually wasn't home because our internet wasn't working. So I went to my neighbor's, and I'm like randomly in her husband's office doing these interviews. And you just realize this community, like I felt so seen, so validated. It's like these people are my twins, identical twins. I don't even want to say sisters. It's like they have my same brain. And I don't know if this is just anything with community that you go through in life, a hardship, grief, or a specific diagnosis. But it was crazy to me that we think the same way. The things that came out of her mouth, all of these people, there were 2 people yesterday, and it just blew my mind. And we still haven't talked about it because I came home. I was like, Todd, I got to tell you about this. But it's just, they understand me and I understand them in a way that I just think is unique. And you can explain it to people who haven't walked in those shoes. And it's just hard to do that. But there was a lot of talk, because these questions that we come up with, you repeat them, and both these women pretty much had similar answers. And I felt the same way, but it was a lot about like how you deal with going to baby showers, pregnancy announcements, how you deal with like seeing friends. And it's just so interesting. I don't know if we do a podcast. I actually was thinking about this with them. I think we do, but I guess to like preview it a little bit, it was something that came up in my mind of, not only, going through so much loss and infertility, and your life is changing so much, and you're changing, like the person I am now, and both these women said it yesterday, like I'm a different person. I will never be that person. Like I have changed from this experience, and I feel that way completely. But relationships are really hard, and I don't mean just partnerships, like a husband or a partner, but other relationships in your life. And we had deep conversations on that. And, even pregnancy announcements, one of the women was saying that, when I asked her the question, she's the only, like she was the first to kind of talk about this, which I just thought, oh, wow, that's interesting. But she has a 2-year-old daughter. She's about to start her second journey, but she went through years, long hauler, all of that. And she went on to talk about how, though, her heart is so big for that now. And she was like walking into a Starbucks, and she was sitting there with her daughter. And there was a woman, she said, that looked like her age with her friend. And she was talking about her fertility journey. And the woman looked over at her and her daughter and just started bawling, like full tears, crying. And Tara, the person I was talking to, she said, like, my heart just exploded because she's like, I was there. I know that exact feeling. And she like ran over and like told her, like, look, like, I'm sorry that this triggered you, but like I've been there for 4 years, and she's like, I was hugging this woman in Starbucks, and I don't know, just these stories that I'm hearing from women. Not that I had that experience, but I like could understand that. I could understand if I was out and someone saw me with Georgie and started crying, I would immediately, hopefully, know what to do. But anyway, I'm getting off track. But I find all of these interviews super fascinating, interesting. And then at the end of the day, it's like, I feel like they're my identical twins, where I'm like, oh my God, I feel so seen. I feel so heard, so it's cool.
Well, I feel like the irony too is that during our fertility journey, we talked a lot about like what would be awesome if it existed. And I feel like some of our conversations kind of like circled around exactly what Rune is, right? Like
yeah. I think, I told them that. I was like, guys,
we had this idea first. No, but truthfully, we talked like, why isn't there a sort of like cool, like not WebMD obviously, but like a community where you can like, it's basically just taking what's on Instagram and putting it on something different, to get that community that's more like specific to, fertility and infertility, and have a community and doctors as resources.
And that's why like we talked about so many ideas that's why I really want to be able to build out, and, hopefully it will take some time because it's going to be brand new, but build out some of the things we were thinking about. We just never, I just feel like it's hard. The people involved in this are in the tech world, and obviously we were just kind of starting at square one. But it is a bummer we never really figured something out there, because that would have been fun. Yeah, now I'm doing it.
Yeah, it's cool. We'll update you on that, and then we'll keep everyone updated on the
we'll see how that goes.
Journey.
Boy. All right, guys. It was another good one, TK.
Yep.
Love you.
See you next time.
Oh, no, love you?
Love you.
Okay, thanks.
See you next time. Love you. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Unexpecting the podcast. Please subscribe, leave a review, and follow Unexpecting Pod on Instagram for info about upcoming weekly episode releases.